Good morning. It's Saturday, January 11 in Altoona, Iowa. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. It snowed last night, as predicted, but it is not snowing today. Since I last spoke, Julian Castro has withdrawn from the presidential race, and yesterday I got an email from Marianne Williamson that announced her withdrawal from the race. She termed it suspending her campaign, but that amounts to a withdrawal. Two political articles last week in the Des Moines Register that are worth commentary. And again, at 99 cents a month for the digital edition of the Des Moines Register, you could do a lot worse than to spend a buck and read about it firsthand. The first one projected a huge turnout at the Democratic caucuses. And it quoted one of the Democratic officials as saying they expect to have a precinct with over 1,000 people attending the caucus. That would break a record. Previous record was set in 2008 when Democrats in Iowa mobilized themselves and turned out at the caucuses in order to support Barack Obama. The reason for the huge turnout? Donald Trump. The second article came out last night, is in today's paper, and it presents the results of a Des Moines Register, CNN, one other entity poll of Iowa voters. I'm going to go over those results with you quickly. First of all, it's a telephone poll. I don't know about you, but I have my iPhone set to reject all calls from someone who's not on my contact list. So if a person taking a survey calls me up, they'll never get through to me. Iowa Democrats are pretty sensitive to how important their role is in the selection process, and it is entirely possible that they will accept outside calls and then respond to a survey. I recall Cory Booker telling his candidates, for God's sake, if a survey calls you, take the call and tell them you support me. Of the 3,100 people who answered their phone, 701 said they were likely to attend the Democratic caucuses. That's 22%. Of the 701 people contacted between January 2 and January 8, Bernie Sanders was first with 20%, Elizabeth Warren had 17, Pete Buttigieg had 16, Joe Biden had 15, Amy Klobuchar had 6, and Andrew Yang had 5. Cory Booker had 3%, Tom Steyer had 2, Michael Bennet of Colorado and John Delaney had 0. Apparently the Des Moines Register is part of the USA Today network, and if this poll is online at a newspaper you have digital access to, I highly recommend you go to it because it has interactive charts which show much more detailed information about the results of the poll. The only one I'm going to share with you has to do with age. You could break it into 3 categories: under 35, 35 to 55, and 55 and over. The results that I just read you, Sanders at 20%, etc., is an amalgamation of all 3 of those age groups. Here are the results for under 35. Sanders 36, Warren 20, Mayor Pete 13, Yang 8, and Biden and Amy at 4 each. Here are the results for 55 and over. Biden 24, Mayor Pete 18, Elizabeth Warren 13, Amy 8, Bernie Sanders 6. Who's more likely to vote, 55 and over or 35 and under? What I make of this poll is that Mayor Pete's support is slipping. Some further thoughts on the Iowa poll, which you'll hear a lot about Tuesday night in connection with the 6th Democratic debate. It's not a startling poll. What needs to be remembered is that only 40% of the respondents said they had made up their mind. That means 60% had not. That's going to change. Obviously, it may not change until Monday, February 3, but it will change. Second, the percentages of the candidates are surprising and not surprising. Bernie Sanders at 20%, I bet he started at 20%. Elizabeth Warren at 18%, I think she probably started within a percentage point or 2 of that. Pete Buttigieg is surprising. He went up, I think, at one point to 27%, and It's harder to tell here on the ground, but some of the Mayor Pete supporters that I know and talk to have told me they're vacillating. They're concerned about reality. Can he beat President Trump? If he was elected president, what kind of an administration would he have? Joe Biden, 15%, fine. You know, that's within a couple of percent of where he started, probably. My impression was that after the first national debate, people thought he was too old. Having seen him on the ground here in Iowa, I don't think that's true. He's not too old. He's functioning very well. And he is responsive to the pressures and the input that he's receiving. Again, gone are we're going to go back to the good old days of Obama-Biden, and it's been replaced with the country has evolved, there are new problems, there are new solutions that have to be implemented. I will venture the prediction that the candidate that will benefit the most from the non-viable candidate delegates or persons who are attending the caucus will be Joe Biden. He will go up the most. In terms of future activity, I've got Elizabeth Warren today in Mason City, a 2-hour drive each way from here. Tomorrow, Mayor Pete has a big town hall in Des Moines, which is at exactly the same time as the Seahawks playoff game. Mayor Pete's advisors pay no attention to football games. When I recorded his outdoor rally in October, it was during the Notre Dame USC football game, and it was during the Iowa-Ohio State football game, I think. So anyone who was remotely a football fan probably wasn't going to go attend a Mayor Pete rally. Mayor Pete is here all of next week. On Monday, Tom Steyer is attending a house party in Des Moines. I will try to attend that. I've never seen him in that small a context. Like you, I'll be watching Tuesday night's debate. I regret that Andrew Yang is not in attendance. I very much enjoyed hearing him speak in Tipton, Iowa. Yesterday I was able to go to Mason City. The purpose of the trip, obviously, was to see the new and improved Elizabeth Warren. The good news is that she is new and improved to some extent. Change number 1, chairs. Change number 2, her 37-minute stump speech came out to 11 minutes and 40 seconds. Instead of taking 3 questions, they started with 5, and she breezed through those fairly quickly, and they added either 3 or 4 more. I lost count. And if you're interested in how she does in a question and answer, look for that video. Perhaps it'll be up later today, Sunday. On the other hand, the Seahawks are playing Green Bay this afternoon, and that has priority. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.